Now, I've done the KonMari method before, but never quite like this. And even though I'm nervous about this, I think it's going to get me drastically better results. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And a question I get a lot about the KonMari method is what you should do if something doesn't spark joy, but you still need it, like a vacuum cleaner, for instance. I have answered that question in a whole separate video. It is excellent, even if I do say so myself, very informative. I'm going to link that for you, but today I want to flip that. Are there some situations where something sparks joy, but maybe you shouldn't keep it? Here's my thinking. I have decluttered my closet. I have gone through the KonMari method with clothes multiple times over the past few years. So it's safe to say that the vast majority of the clothes in here do spark joy for me. But let's be real, over time, your shape changes, your tastes change, your style changes. I turned 37 a few weeks ago, and since then I've been making a bit more of an effort to dress up a little bit. I was finding that I was kind of resorting to the same clothes over and over again. Maybe you've done that where you have a lot of clothes but you tend to wear the same things on a regular basis. Well, turned 37, realized that, you know what, every day is a special occasion, so I'm going to start wearing all of the dresses and skirts and nicer outfits that I own. But here's the problem. Since the last time I wore them, my shape, my size has changed a lot and they no longer fit me. So here's the thing, here's the dilemma that I'm having. These clothes spark joy, but they don't fit me. They don't spark joy on my body. They don't spark joy when I'm wearing them. So today, what I'm going to do is the KonMari method with a bit of a twist. This is something she doesn't go into in the book, but I feel like a lot of people maybe struggle from this. You have something that sparks joy, but it's just not right for you. Like with these clothes. So today I'm taking it a step further. I'm not just asking myself, does this spark joy? I'm asking myself, does this spark joy while I'm wearing it? I'm going to try on every single piece of clothing that I have, and I'm going to ask myself that question. Does it spark joy while it's actually on me? I know this is going to take a really long time. I'm going to break it down into sections. I'm not going to empty my entire closet all in one go. I'm going to go kind of segment by segment, subcategory by subcategory. But I'm just getting to a stage where it's very disheartening to look at something and know that it sparks joy, but that it doesn't actually spark joy on me. It makes getting dressed in the morning such a frustrating experience. So for anything that does not fit, that does not spark joy on my body right now, I am removing it from my closet. If something doesn't fit you, doesn't flatter you, if it's not something that you're wearing on a regular basis, it probably should not be where you keep your kind of regular day-to-day clothes, the clothes that you're actually wearing. I'm going to take those out. I'm going to put them in a separate closet in a separate room because currently I am about to embark on a 1-month challenge. I just put up a video on it recently where I am going to be taking more care of my body, eating a little bit better, doing a little bit more exercise. It may change the shape of my body. That's not what the challenge is about. It's just about taking care of me. So I don't want to completely get rid of these clothes. Like I said, they do spark joy for me, and it may be the case that I will fit back into them after my month-long challenge, particularly if I, keep it up afterwards. My shape may change. So I will hold on to these clothes for a while just to see, but for now they need to leave my closet so that I can actually get dressed easily in the morning. A quick heads up, if you are doing the KonMari method and you're feeling a bit stuck, I do have a free checklist that breaks everything down into really small subcategories. I'm going to have that linked in the description, and in a minute I'm going to share some tips if you're thinking of doing something similar by trying everything on. I started with dresses and like jumpsuits, coats and jackets, that type of thing. That was the largest section in my closet, but the one that I probably wore the least, though I have been trying to change that recently, just dressing up a little bit more. But I separated everything into 2 piles. Everything on the left was stuff that still fits, and everything on the right then was stuff that no longer fits or flatters me. Because I've decluttered so many times, I was already pretty confident that everything did spark joy, but I would have created a third pile if I'd come across anything that I no longer wanted. And in fact, you will see that a little later in the video. But I started off with a few items that did fit, so I thought I was going well. But then the second pile, the does not fit pile, started to get bigger and bigger. But let me share some tips with you. Try everything on, even if you think it will fit or even if you think it won't fit. I found some stuff that I really did not think would fit me, but in actual fact, it did. So unless you've worn it very, very recently, like in the last week or so, or if you have two items that are basically the same thing, you know, I had some dresses that were essentially the exact same, just had different patterns and stuff on them, or were maybe different colors. Don't assume that something will or will not fit you. Go ahead and try it on. Also, ignore numbers and sizes. I had some extra small stuff that still fit when I am clearly not an extra small size anymore. So don't pay attention to labels, don't pay attention to numbers or letters. Instead, pay attention to how it fits and how you feel in it. Now here, after a few items, I noticed that I was only checking to see if it fit. So I had to bring it back to the sparks joy question, because really it's not a matter of if it fits, it's a matter of feeling great in it. So always bring it back to the sparks joy question, or, you know, do you love it? Does it flatter you? Do you feel confident in it? After that, then I would say look at the item from multiple angles if you can. There were some things that I put on that looked good from the front, but then when I viewed them from the back, not so much. So out of a total of 61 items in this subcategory, I removed a whopping 40. Yes, 40. A hard lesson that I am learning from all of this is that just because you can zip it up, just because you can button it, just because you can get it on your body, does not mean that it fits you or that it flatters you. There were a few points during this where I was like, oh, can I just get the zip up, or can I squeeze into this? And I realized that that is not the point of the exercise. Just because I can squeeze into it doesn't mean that I should. That took me an hour. I am now disheveled looking and tired, but that will give me a good indication of how long the rest of it is going to take. This was the biggest category. I think the rest will take probably 2-ish hours. Quite surprised, although also not at all surprised, by how much I'm going to be removing from my closet, at least for now. Probably about 2/3 of that pile. Yeah, I would say about that. But the truth is, I'm not wearing it. It doesn't fit me, so I'm not going to be wearing it, so therefore I'm not going to miss it. I mean, there are definitely some pieces in this let go pile that I'm not too happy to separate, but I don't know, I've got some wear out of them. They have served me well. Maybe I will fit back into them at some point in the future, but who knows? For now, I'm just happy to have clothes that I know for a fact fit me and that I feel good in. Those are the clothes that I want in my closet. It's time to put these ones back in the closet then, and I just feel great knowing that in the mornings now it's just going to be easier and quicker to get dressed, because I won't have to sift through a lot of things that just don't fit me right now. Anything I pick up I know will fit and flatter me. And then all of the rest of the stuff is going, like I said, in a separate closet in our guest room. And after I have done my 1-month challenge, I will reassess to see if any of that stuff fits me then. In the meantime, it is on to the second category, which is strappy tops and t-shirts. Let's see if I get a similar result with these ones. I had a very unhappy realization while doing this subcategory. I will talk about that soon, but this one was a struggle for me because, you know, generally I prefer my t-shirts and my tops on the slim side. So it basically came down to a judgment call as to whether it was, you know, just slim fitting or whether it was a little too snug. So a good question is, you know, do I feel confident in this? Would I wear it without feeling like I had to keep kind of pulling at it or adjusting it? Would I be trying to hide or cover up in some way? that really helped me to make the distinction between slim fitting and just a little bit too tight. But I did make one exception, and that was for tops that I use as layering pieces. So I have some kind of strappy tops or vest tops that I really only wear under other clothes. So even if those were on the snug side, I still kept them because I know they won't be seen. Those ones are not about aesthetics, they're just about keeping me all cozy and warm. I also realized here that some of my t-shirts I've actually had since before I met my husband, and that was 17 years ago. So yeah, I do have a lot of clothes in my closet, but a lot of them I do actually wear and continue to wear. But yeah, that's a long time to have an item of clothing. I mean, it's great in one sense because it means I'm not, constantly going through clothes and just getting rid of them on a regular basis. But at the same time, it's a long time to hang on to a t-shirt. But I'm surprised by how much I got rid of in this section, given how often I wear these types of things. Like, I'm kind of a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal. But out of the 57 items, I removed 26, so almost half. Looking more disheveled by the minute. That took about half an hour, and I actually got rid of more than I thought I would. I got rid of about half, maybe not quite, but definitely more than I was expecting. But I did come to an unpleasant realization as I was going through these, and that was that I kind of either dress very casually, very comfortably, or I kind of overdress. And I realized that both of them, in their own way, were kind of my way of overcompensating for the fact that I didn't feel great in my clothes, or they just didn't fit me properly. That wasn't kind of a nice realization, that I kind of felt uncomfortable in a lot of these clothes and was then kind of dressing to mask my discomfort. I'm really hoping that this process will change that, because I will only have things that fit me and that I feel good in my closet. Yeah, this was an eye-opener. I always feel like no matter how many times I declutter, I always learn a new lesson each time, and some of the lessons are good lessons, and I feel great that I've learned them, and other lessons like this one are kind of not so great. They don't make me feel wonderful, but it's still important to learn them, because that is how we grow and that's how we get better. So no more trying to squash myself into something that doesn't fit, no more wearing something that I kind of have to tug at or pull at or adjust during the day. I'm only going to have clothes that really fit me well. 2 categories down and 2 more to go, though I did realize that I do have some clothes in the laundry room. Some of them still dirty, some of them have been washed and are just waiting to be ironed or something, or just folded and put back. So I'm going to add that on as an extra category at the end, but there shouldn't be too many things in that. It shouldn't take me too long. Hopefully those are not famous last words. For now though, let's move on to category 3, which is shirts and blouses, kind of cardigans and shrugs, and then jumpers / sweaters. Oh, this was the first category where I actually got rid of something. Like, it did fit, but it didn't spark joy. So it was gone. Yet another reason to try something on, even if you feel that you already know how it fits. That doesn't mean that it is going to spark joy for you. That doesn't mean that you love it. It doesn't mean that you should keep it. This was also a unique category in that most of the items were actually purchased in the last kind of 5 years or so. I'd say I was never much of a jumper / sweater person, even though I lived in Ireland, which isn't exactly known for being tropical, but I just layered a lot. But the winter before we moved to the US, which is like winter 2016 / 2017, I just decided I was fed up of being cold all the time. So that's when I started to buy more like cold weather clothes. So more jumpers, more sweaters, more hoodies, things like that. And because all of these, or most of these certainly, were those more recent purchases, I really didn't get rid of that many at all. But I did realize, strangely, that there are a lot here that I haven't been wearing. So that's why it's really good to go through your closet every now and again, and especially to actually pull things out of your closet. I know it's a pain, trust me, but I had actually realized that I had become blind to a lot of the things that were just hanging up in my closet. It was just really easy for me to skip over them. But when you pull everything out and you go through them one by one, then you can really take that time to notice exactly what you have. Now, this may sound silly, but this is actually where I started to struggle kind of physically, I guess, where I started to experience physical symptoms. And that's because of all of the fluff and dust that was on the clothes. So I started sniffling and sneezing, which afterwards actually led me to have a sinus migraine. So if you are someone who is a slave to your sinuses, if you really kind of are sensitive to things like that, or even just generally, like, it does throw up a lot of dust and fluff, like I said. So just be aware of that. It's one of the kind of, downsides of decluttering that nobody mentions because it's such an unusual one. But yeah, maybe wear a mask. We all have masks, or spread it out. So I tried to do everything in one day. Now I did eventually, as you will see, have to spread it over 2 days, but maybe just take one section a day at a time. Or you could also, something that does help me, particularly with kind of hay fever season, is to rub some petroleum jelly or like lip balm or something just under or around my nose, and that actually can help to trap a lot of dust and dirt and fluff and stuff before it can actually get into your nasal cavity and irritate it. So there you go, kind of a slightly unusual symptom, I guess you'd say, of decluttering, but just something I thought I would mention because it really did start to affect me at this point. And like I said, I went on to have a migraine afterwards, so that wasn't fun. I would also say to bring a drink. This is thirsty work, it is time consuming work, and like I said, there will be a lot of dust and stuff, so it can make your throat a little bit dry. So bring your drink with you. But here, out of 39 items, I removed 7. And like I said earlier, one of these was kind of permanently removed. So I ended up donating it. Ooh, it's getting pretty dark out now. It's getting pretty late. It's almost 9 p.m. I started this video late and then I stopped for dinner anyway. Didn't get rid of that much from this category. It took me about half an hour-ish, but still made some progress. Got rid of one item entirely, which I'm very happy about, and did kind of separate out some other things. These are all pretty recent purchases, so I knew going into this that I probably wasn't going to get rid of that much, so not overly surprised. I was going to kind of plow on and finish the last of it, but I think because it's getting so late, I may just leave it till tomorrow because it's dark, and honestly there's only so much these studio lights can do. I'm just going to get terrible shots in the dark. Plus I still actually have some other work to do, so yeah, I don't want to be up all night, and I definitely need to fix this hair. It's all over the place at this stage. Really pleased and honestly slightly horrified by the progress that I've made so far. I don't know, did I expect to separate out so much? I did and I didn't. Actually seeing it is quite eye-opening. Yes, calling a halt for today, and I will pick things back up tomorrow. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's the same outfit. I didn't really, in fairness, spend much time in it yesterday because I was changing in and out of other clothes, but today I am tackling bottoms, so like shorts, skirts and trousers, plus then hoodies as well. Now I knew I'd probably get rid of a lot from this category, but I was starting to wonder if I would be keeping anything at all. As it went on, I was really starting to be concerned because the do not fit pile was getting bigger and bigger by the second. But finally, a stretchy waisted skirt came to my rescue. But this is another category where I actually got rid of something. It was a pair of jeans with a pretty bad rip in them, and I kept meaning to mend them. You know how it goes, they sit there and you keep saying to yourself, yes, I'm going to get around to that. But the rip was getting worse and worse, and then when I tried them on, I actually ripped them in another place. So at that stage, I knew it was definitely time to let them go. There's only one subcategory left now after this one, but for this one, there were a total of 31 items and I removed 18. And again, one of those was removed permanently. I'm not gonna lie, that was rough. Yeah, it took me about half an hour, but there was a point where I had nothing in the keep pile and I was starting to fret that I would have nothing left. But Stretchy waistbands to the rescue. I did go into it knowing though that I would probably get rid of a lot from this section because like my shape has mainly changed around my middle and my hips. So I kind of figured all of the bottom half stuff was going to be the category where I got rid of a lot. Having said that though, I probably got rid of a little more than half. So not too bad. One thing I do like about the KonMari method though is that she focuses on what sparks joy. You know, she focuses on the things that you actually love and the things that you want to keep, as opposed to focusing on your discards and what you're getting rid of. It's about embracing what you love. It's not about feeling guilt or shame or anything like that for the things that you're getting rid of. That's what I'm trying to keep in mind as I go through this. It's not about feeling kind of sad or upset about the fact that I am removing a lot of things from my closet because they no longer fit. Rather, I'm focusing on the fact that now I'm going to have a closet that is full of clothes that do fit me, that I'm not going to have to go through lots and lots of things that don't fit. I'm not going to have to like try on things and put them back. It's going to save me a lot of time. It's going to save me a lot of effort, and I'm just going to feel better. I mean, look though, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little sting of sadness. There is. But I know that the end result is all going to be worth it, and it is for the greater good. Now I'm going to move on to the final lot of clothes, which is stuff from the laundry, and I'm just going to separate them out into clean clothes and dirty clothes so that I don't get them mixed up. And then that will be it. That will be every single item of clothing that I own. You know, I figured here that I wouldn't have too many to remove because the fact that they're in the laundry means that I have worn them recently. But I was very much mistaken. I went through the dirty clothes first, and then I took a picture of the ones that I wanted to separate so that when they came out of the wash, I would remember which ones were which. And here again, I completely got rid of another item, another pair of trousers. Always amazing to me, like no matter how many times I declutter, if I go back through it, I will usually, like 9 times out of 10, find something else to declutter. And look, I know I have a lot of clothes, but they do genuinely bring me joy. And I think everyone has a category or maybe 2 categories of items that's, you know, a little on the larger side. For some, it might be makeup. For others, it might be crafting supplies. For me, it's just clothes. Well, also maybe stationery, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay to have a category of 2 that's just that little bit bigger. But do you know what's horrifying though? I basically got rid of a closet full of clothes. Like almost half of my clothes did not fit, and they filled the closet in the spare room. And I still have a full closet left. That was really kind of mind-blowing to me. But again, that's why I really like the KonMari method. It's about focusing on the things that make you happy. It's not about forcing you to let them go. And like I said, I think we all have 1 or 2 categories that are on the larger side, and that's okay. You know, I just need to focus a little bit more on the things that actually fit rather than things that just spark joy. Out of 39 items here, I removed 12, and that was after I had first washed them. I'm done, and I have mixed feelings. Okay, on the one hand, I feel relieved because I know now that everything in my closet fits me and that I feel good in it, and it's going to make getting dressed in the mornings so much easier. But on the other hand, I feel frustrated and I feel a little bit sad. You know, I'm frustrated because I left that stuff in there for so long, and it has made my mornings thus far really frustrating and really awkward, and just a lengthy process. And also sad because some of the clothes that I separated, even though I'm not officially getting rid of them, at least not yet, some of those are clothes that I really, really love, and I really wish they did fit me. And that's just me being honest. I separated out almost half of my clothes. So I had about 230 items, and I separated out a little over 100. You know, I feel like every decluttering video could be titled, I got rid of more than I thought I would. I guess I didn't really know what to expect, but I did know that I would get rid of a lot. But half? I don't know. I really think this question though of does it spark joy on me is a much better question for me right now in my life. Now that I've gone through the whole does it spark joy question, this is kind of a further qualification that just makes me think a little bit differently about things. And maybe you could twist it to your needs. Maybe yours could be, does it spark joy in this space, in this setting, in this room? Different variations, different qualifications that are just going to ensure that you are making a better choice. Remember to download your free KonMari checklist, and I have loads more KonMari Method videos if you want to check those out. Let's keep the good times rolling, and until then, go raibh míle maith agam. Agus feici mé sibh Slán!